could you mess things up this badly? How can one man, one dude, one executive, how can someone making $50 million a year say something this stupid? I don't know how long David Zaslav will be collecting $50 million every year. If I was a shareholder in Warner Brothers Discovery, if I had a financial interest in TNT, I would be demanding that David Zaslav be fired immediately. Growing up, I was very quick-tempered. I had a sharp tongue. Instead of going through the process of think, react, speak, my process was speak, react, think. During my teenage years, when my mouth constantly got me into trouble, my dad would always tell me to watch what I say. Your words can be your worst enemy. Your mouth will write checks that your little ass can't cash. Back then, though, at least I had an excuse. I was a teenager. At 39 years old, I choose my words very carefully, especially if I don't have any leverage. What is David Zaslav's excuse? This dude is 64 years old, been working in the television business for decades. 2 years ago, during an RBC investor conference, David Zaslav, he allowed 7 words to escape his facial orifice that forever changed the landscape of sports television. While speaking at the conference, he allowed his ego, his arrogance to take over, and he said, "We don't have to have the NBA." Now, the we he was referring to here was TNT. Problem is, David Zaslav, he's not the only one with an ego. Those 7 words got back to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, and he decided that the NBA, they don't need TNT either. Adam Silver's right. The NBA doesn't need TNT, but as David Zaslav has quickly found out, TNT desperately needs the NBA. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. 2 years ago, when David Zaslav made these comments, I understood exactly where he was coming from. With the current deal, I can't imagine that TNT is making money broadcasting the NBA. If anything, they are probably losing money. Right now, TNT's paying $1.2 billion every year for the NBA. Now, this probably wasn't a big deal 10 or 11 years ago when the current deal was signed. Back then, the NBA was averaging over 2 million viewers on TNT during the regular season. The future was looking promising. LeBron James was the most hated player in the league. At the time, LeBron James, he had good heat instead of go-away heat. Coming off that ridiculous decision that was broadcast on ESPN, casual NBA fans, they tuned in by the millions to watch LeBron James lose. Steph Curry and the Rainbow Warriors, they were on the rise. When TNT signed the current deal, it was financially feasible. But over the last 4, maybe even 5 years, NBA ratings have drastically declined. Regular season ratings, pooper. TNT's lost 40 and in some cases maybe even 50% of the audience they had 10 or 11 years ago. Ratings for the All-Star Game, which TNT continues wasting time and resources broadcasting every year, pooper. Ratings for the playoffs, pooper. As ratings and ad revenue have declined, the fees to broadcast the NBA, they have increased exponentially. I guess TNT's just like you and me, they are victims of inflation. I would imagine that most of you guys haven't had a raise at your job in the last few years. While prices for utilities, groceries, gas, the cost to survive has rapidly increased, while your salary has probably remained the same. Same situation with TNT, so I understood the frustration of David Zaslav. In a way, I understood why he made the comment that TNT doesn't need the NBA. If you're paying $1.2 billion for something and you're losing money on it, on the surface, it would seem like you don't need it. You would be better off without it. Damn sure seems like you could do without it when the declining asset comes back to you and says, "We want to triple the amount that you're paying us right now." Triple the amount? Well, that sounds great. I want triple the ratings, which is something the NBA has consistently proven they cannot provide. That would be like your cell phone provider telling you, we're going to triple the amount of your bill, but we're only going to give you half the coverage. Would you agree to that deal? Absolutely not. But here's the difference, and this is a huge difference. You can simply go out and find a new cell phone provider. There is no replacement for the NBA. You know why Adam Silver was able to command $76 billion even though the NBA is a declining asset in terms of television ratings? Because the NBA is the only league in the country that provides 10 months of live programming. Well, Casey, what about Major League Baseball? On a national level, no one gives a shit about Major League Baseball. There's not a single player in baseball that is a mainstream draw. Where is your Caitlin Clark in Major League Baseball? Where is your LeBron James, Steph Curry? Hell, even a doofus like Draymond Green is a mainstream draw on television. Well, what about Shohei Ohtani? What about him? You think people in Tulsa, Oklahoma give a shit about Shohei Ohtani? You think people in Winona, Minnesota care about the Little Giants in San Francisco? No. But you put LeBron James in prime time during the playoffs in April and May, he's drawing millions of viewers to your network. Hell, put LeBron in prime time during the regular season, he's pulling 1, 2, sometimes 3 or 4 million. Not to mention the fact that the NBA raises the national profile of your network. Mainstream sports media, it primarily focuses on 2 leagues, NFL, NBA. Outside of those 2 leagues, everything else gets minimal coverage, besides college football, of course. For the past 40 years, TNT has been the focal point of mainstream sports media. Now, it's over. And it didn't have to end this way. All David Zaslav had to do was shut the hell up. All he had to do was keep his arrogance to himself. 7 words caused the beginning of the end for TNT. Where do they go from here? Name one program on TNT that you watch on a regular basis. I can't name a single show on the entire network. While prepping this video, I checked the schedule for TNT today. From 10 in the morning all the way through prime time, they are showing nothing but movies featuring Adam Sandler. Tomorrow, exact same thing. Outside of the NBA, TNT, they've got nothing to offer. I'm 39 years old. I am the target demo for television networks. Now that they no longer have the NBA, I will forget TNT exists. This is why Charles Barkley has been so upset. One of the tragedies caused by David Zaslav's bruised caboose is the destruction of Inside the NBA. The upcoming season, final year of the greatest sports show on television. Now, I am sure Adam Silver considered this when making the decision to leave TNT for Amazon. Even though he is the worst and definitely the softest commissioner in sports, Alice is no dummy. I'm sure he knows that the coverage ESPN provides for the NBA is absolute garbage. Now, NBC. I'm sure NBC will do a good job. Their news division is trash, but NBC proved in the 90s that they know how to cover the NBA. But no one is going to be better than what TNT provided the league. But KC, there's a simple solution here. Inside the NBA can just move to another network. ESPN wants them. Amazon wants them. They can move and it'll be great. Last week, when it was announced that Skip Bayless was fired by Fox Sports, Stephen A. Smith, he wasted no time saying that Skip Bayless wasn't welcome back on First Take. Why? Why do you think he said that? Because Stephen A. Smith knows most of the time it is impossible to recreate the magic. The sequel is rarely as good as the original. It's not just the hosts that make Inside the NBA great, it's the producers, the writers, it's the backstage staff. Who knows how many people behind the scenes contribute to the show? Do you guys remember NFL Primetime on ESPN? During the 90s and 2000s, NFL Primetime, it was must-see TV. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson hosted the show. It was the pre and post game show for Sunday Night Football on ESPN. Chris Berman would do the fastest 2 minutes in football, recapping all the day's games. He had excellent chemistry with Tom Jackson. 2006, NBC, they purchased the rights to Sunday Night Football. NFL prime time, over. Now, over the last 15, maybe 20 years, ESPN, they have tried a couple of times to revive the show, but it never worked. It was never the same. Just like Inside the NBA, it wouldn't be the same on Amazon. It damn sure wouldn't be the same on ESPN. Even though he's claiming to retire, Charles Barkley, he's going to be the most sought after free agent in television. Going to be recruited by ESPN, going to be recruited by Amazon, NBC, but I think Charles Barkley is really done. He only wants to work with his crew. Problem is, Kenny Smith wants to be a general manager in the NBA. Ernie Johnson has stated on multiple occasions his ass ain't leaving Atlanta. But even if all four of them agreed to move to another network, it still wouldn't be the same because inside the NBA, it belongs on TNT. And it's kind of hard to have a studio show about the NBA when you don't own the rights to the league. 7 words ended an era. The arrogance of a television executive making $50 million a year. It destroyed a legendary program that it took 40 years to build in a matter of seconds. TNT, they are threatening to sue the NBA, claiming they had the rights to the league because they matched Amazon's offer, but they're going to lose. Doesn't matter either way because the NBA clearly doesn't want to be on your network. Why would you be willing to pay billions of dollars for something who doesn't want you in return? It's over. It's over. By this time next year, best sports show on television, it will be over. But give me your thoughts on this. Adam Silver rejects TNT, essentially ending Inside the NBA. Is there any chance that the show moves to another network? And if so, will it be the same? I don't think so, but you let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.